to change the society. It's your voice.
Top of the day to you. Welcome to Voters Forum, your favorite program that is a light of politics. I am Wale Ogunade, your host on this program. This week was full of various activities, but the most important one and the one that really took the shine off was activities marking the lying in state and burial activities of the Queen of the World, as I called her. Many political activities took place in Nigeria during the week. But then, we'll let you out of the cat of the bag. What we'll do is that indeed, we have a lot of things for you today. And another thing, we have an interesting package for you. That package, just wait a bit. You'll get to see it. My co-host, Blossom.
Yes, it's good to be here on the show. You're welcome. My name is Rose Blossom. And of course, this is Voters Forum, where you get all the education needed, the proper ones, of course, where you need to get to know yourself, your country, your rights, everything that involves politics. And definitely, you want to stay glued to the program. And guess what? For those who can actually watch this on TV, we're doing it live. It's streaming live on all our platforms, all our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter at Galaxy TV, which of course you can watch. And there's another little thing. You can actually be part of the show. But before we get into that part, I want to go over to Barrister because he has a lot to say. And don't do like, what do they have today? No, I think what you should be expecting is the fact that we have a guest that's going to be here again to actually entertain you in the part of politics, because it's not just education, it's going to be fun. So get ready, sit back, and just enjoy this one. Don't go nowhere.
Yes, today we are bringing a new twist and a new interesting aspect to it. We are introducing ladies. We want to be gender sensitive. We don't want a situation where it's just men. Though my co-host is a female of the other gender, but then I'm sure she too, when we just came up today, she said, yes, this is it. Yeah, and our guest today is Rose Odite. She's a human rights activist, very passionate about issues relating to women and the elderly. She's here in the studio with us. Rose, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Today we'll be talking.
Pleasure to be here.
Go.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
So today we'll be looking at the issue of democracy, dividends of democracy. Dividends of democracy. What is dividends of democracy? You've been hearing this issue, this matter, this speech, this talk, this phrase regularly. Has it really mean any meaning to you? But dividends of democracy is when government officials now present or give you those campaign promises, making them a reality. We will do this, we will do that during the various electoral campaign period, and now turning it into reality once they assume office. Then, their failure to do it, or their ability to perform, all those things are issues that we want to look at today, so that you'll be well informed, that will help you in deciding, as the elections come, who to vote for to deliver dividends of democracy to you.
Yes, of course, I have something to say. We have a mini feature, definitely, where you are going to get to understand, where we have a back view of all of that. So yes, the mini feature is going to come up so we can talk about what we need to understand on when it comes to dividend of democracy. Like I said, you need to stay glued to this one. And of course, I said there's a little thing, package for you guys where you can actually be part of the show. And how is that? There's a number that's going to be displayed on your screen TV where you can actually send a message to. You can definitely put your name and your location, so we can put a name and a location to the message. So yes, you can do that while we're streaming on platforms, on all our social media platforms. You can also be part of it. So let's go see this mini feature that will be like an intro into the real deal for today. Take it away.
Before the return of democracy in Nigeria in 1999, there were arguments and complaints about non-performance of successive military juntas, which resulted in infrastructural decay, weak institutions, lack of respect to the rule of law and human rights in the country. These anomalies caused more efforts by pro-democracy activists to push for the end of military rule, which indeed was achieved in 1999. And 13 years down the line, Nigeria is still struggling to meet up with development and growth in spite of government efforts and huge financial commitment amounting to several trillions of naira. A closer look at Nigeria's development statistics shows that the country, which has abundant human and material resources, is battling with issues of tribalism, nepotism, corruption, banditry and terrorism that have eroded established values and cultural heritage that should be the stepping stone to development. Despite efforts to successive administration, the country continued to battle challenges of bad road, epileptic power supply, drug abuse, corruption in all strata of government and wanton rigging of elections that are begging for remedies. These, however, encouraged the quest for sectionalism and lopsided sharing of commonwealth of the country and reducing the country's strive for better development. But the current administration believes it has attempted the achievement of dividends of democracy with its strides in the areas of production, auditing, workers' welfare and fight against cybercrime.
As you are all aware, good governance, accountability and transparency are the hallmark of this administration.
Insecurity and systematic corruption are other menaces that have delayed the delivery of dividend of democracy, and the current administration seems resolute to ending the menace to pave way for economic growth and development.
Forces of Nigeria congratulates the gallant troops all over our operations for the successes recorded, and once more, the High Command is calling on parents, traditional, opinion, community and religious leaders to advise their wards and subjects not to succumb to inducements by the terrorists, as the armed forces of Nigeria remains decisive to end the insurgency and other security challenges in the country.
With the high inflation rate and lack of employment hitting over 30%, Nigerians are, however, thinking that enough has not been done to deliver the required dividend to the citizenry, in spite of efforts of successive administrations.
I don't want to talk about 23 years. I should talk about 8 years, the ones that have been involved. So whatever gains we have had in the last 23 years, things got destroyed in the last 8 years that President Muhammad Buhari came to power. He turned the economy upside down. He turned the security upside down. And he turned the war against corruption upside down. Whatever gain we have recorded, even before 1999, the ones we have recorded even under the military, everything was smashed in these last 8 years of reign of pain and impunity.
It is difficult for Nigeria to really understand what then is the difference between APC and PDP. Essentially, our own democracy, the greatest impediment to our democracy is that the political party do not have ideology that clearly separate them.
A lot of issues when it comes to issue of insecurity that is majorly ravaging the country today. And not only that, in terms of education also, things has not been perfectly done, because you will agree with me that HASU is still on strike. The students are still home for the past 8 months, which is sad.
And until these cardinal points in recognizing a genuine democracy align, one will believe it is not a democracy, and realizing its dividend will be a mirage. From Abuja, I am Nabuchi Oken Nabuchi reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Now is the time to be called out by the people you promise to serve. Are you a leader that is responsible, selfless, and dynamic to turn around the misfortunes of the nation, Nigeria? Why don't you sell your manifestos to the people on Scorecard? Galaxy TV is offering you an opportunity to speak directly to the people on your plans to make life better for Nigerians. Scorecard provides you the time and a chance of a lifetime to be the man and serve. Scorecard, towards a better Nigeria.
You're welcome back. We said that our topic for today is dividends of democracy. And of course, we want to liken our activities or that of government to a company. You will be like the shareholder in a company. As a voter in government, you are a shareholder in a company. And we know that companies, particularly those on the stock exchange, are publicly quoted companies. The shareholders are there to ensure that they appoint managers through a board of directors who will now appoint a management team that will steer the company well. If the company does not produce or does not bring out a good dividends, we call it, that's returns on investment, what will happen is that at the next general meeting, you sack the company. You sack the management of the company and the board of directors too. For you as a voter, that is what election is all about. Every 4 years is an annual general meeting to which you look at the work or the result that the management, that's those in government, have done. If they are able to give you good dividends, they continue. If they're not able to give you good dividends, you sack them. Rose,
Yes.
how do we go from here?
Well, basically, you have practically introduced it,
Yes.
topic, dividend of democracy. You know, the system of government, which is the democracy that we practice,
Yes.
was picked as a system because it was believed to be one that can yield the dividend of democracy to the people.
Yes.
Unfortunately for us, for you to be able to get that dividend, there are basic things that need to be on ground. If you start a democracy, what are the tenets of democracy? If those tenets are not on ground, then definitely you may not likely get the dividend. One of the tenets is the rule of law.
Good.
There must be rule of law in a democracy.
Good.
Apart from that, there must be equality before the law. And then apart from equality before the law, everybody, and there must be fundamental human rights. So if these tenets, among others, are not entrenched in that democracy, then it's difficult for you to be able to enjoy the dividend of democracy, which really is the profits you get for electing people into office. So for me, that is really the fulcrum of the whole thing, for us to know that, yes, we have a democracy, and we pick our politicians, we elect them and vote them into office so that they can bring us the dividends. But because we don't follow or we don't elect the efficient politician in, because of the various reasons that abounds in our country, because we don't elect the efficient politicians in, and they get in there, and for many reasons, they don't follow the rules, they don't uphold the rule of law, everybody is not equal before the law, and they don't truly make sure that people enjoy the fundamental human rights which they should have. Then many times we don't enjoy dividends of democracy.
Yes, I want to believe those your views are tailored as a lawyer who wants to see the abundance of fundamental rights, which to some extent exist in a democratic setup. Now, politicians come before the election, giving us one promise or the other, get into office, they fail to deliver on those promises. Which way forward?
Well, which way forward, you know, is our system we run. A lot of things are entrenched in our constitution. And because they are entrenched in our constitution and the electoral law as amended as today, there should be a system where we can recall them. But I know that the system of recall in Nigeria is almost impossible to achieve. So for us, I guess, is the 4 years tenures of voting them in. And that is one of the reasons I want to commend this program. I want to commend Galaxy Television and you, Barrister Wale Ogwadi, that people need to know. We need to be able to put it out there. Voters need to understand the fact that they have a lot in their hands. Many things they have to do to be sure that we interrogate our leaders. We ask them the right questions during this time, because we are going into another election period. We must ask them the right questions. We must look at those that are coming in, so that we can be sure that the person we put in there has a vision for this country, apart from having a vision for this country, is ready to follow the rule of law of the country to ensure that we will be able to have the dividend of democracy which we should have.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. Okay, we're supposed to go on a break right now, and we'll be right back. But on that, I have a question I will give to you, which, of course, when we come back, you answer. And that is, what is the foundation of democracy? Not in Nigeria, like when it comes to democracy, what is the foundation of democracy? But before she answers that, let's go on a short break. I'll be right back to continue the program. Don't go nowhere.
Now is the time to be called out by the people you promise to serve. Are you a leader that is responsible, selfless, and dynamic to turn around the misfortunes of the nation, Nigeria? Why don't you sell your manifestos to the people on Scorecard? Galaxy TV is offering you an opportunity to speak directly to the people on your plans to make life better for Nigerians. Scorecard provides you the time and a chance of a lifetime to be the man and serve. Scorecard, towards a better.
Right, yes, you're welcome back. Still on Voters Forum, and yes, we're streaming live on every platform, our social media platforms at Galaxy TV, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, you can send your ideas, your opinions, questions to the number displayed on your screen TV. I'll call the number just twice, just in case you're listening. 0703-510-2283. Call it again, 0703-510-2283. And of course, while you're sending that message, please indicate your location and put your name to it. Let's have a name and a location to the message. Thank you. Okay, Rose, yes. you asked a question. I said, what is the foundation of democracy?
Yeah, basically, really, I mean, worldwide, democracy is known for government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It presupposes that the people will gather and pick a representative who will go up there and rule and follow the set down guidelines that has been put on ground and rule for the benefit of the people, which is why we are one of our discussion today is the dividend of democracy. So if we ask ourselves that, let's now bring it down to Nigeria. So now the government we have today, they are supposed to be government that have been put there by the people, and they are supposed to work for the people. But we can see the majority of the things that are going on are not things that are beneficial to the people. And one of the reasons why we need to say this more and we need to educate the voters more is for them to know that in this process of electing or picking and electing your representatives this time, please interrogate your leaders. Don't just sell your vote. Don't just vote for people because of their ethnicity or because of their religion or because of any other communal sentiment. Vote for them because you believe that they are the people who can get there, who have the capabilities and the wherewithal to be able to deliver the dividend of democracy to you. So because like I said earlier, democracy is a form of government that the world embraced.
Rose, my people, those who are watching, most of them, or some of them, depending, most or some of them are grassroots people. And these are the people that want to vote. So this dividend of democracy, I'll just give you a tip so that they'll now help me flow with it. Good roads, infrastructure, houses. I'm sure you have traveled out of the country once or twice. You have gone to some places in which they have dividend. Can we have such here?
Yeah, well, we can have it. Really, for me.
Mention them first.
Yes, the most importantly, we talk about dividend as a profit.
Yes.
And the profit is the fact that, yes, the government goes in there because it's there. It's able to make good roads for the people.
Good.
It's able to make sure that our health system works.
Yes.
It's going to make sure that our educational system works.
Good.
It's going to make sure that we have access to all that we need for us to be able to actualize even our own personal ambitions
and dreams.
So, but majority of the time we haven't gotten there yet. Okay. And why haven't we gotten there is the fact that we have been making maybe the wrong choices. And that's why I feel that we need to educate ourselves more so that we can make the right choices in picking the right people to come in, so that we can enjoy these things, have a country that is
a better Nigeria,
that we are not afraid to go out and all things like that.
Okay, now talking about physical development, because let's just put it under that. Physical development with the dividends of democracy as a result, is it that it is more important? Is that that's the physical thing now? Is it the more important aspect of democracy, or it is way deeper than just the infrastructure we're talking about, the physical ones like we mentioned now?
Well, the roads
is it deeper than that?
It's much more deeper than that.
Okay.
It's not just the physical. The physical is just part of it, but it's much more deeper. We need to have somebody who can, in essence, help the society to develop, help everybody to be able to actualize their ambition, so that in the process of actualizing your ambition, you are able to help the country to develop better. Like he said, we go outside this country and we see all the beautiful things that we see around. It is not just the government making sure that these things are there. But if you educate your people very well, and you have a wonderful engineer who can come in and have ideas, creative ideas of bringing wonderful things into the country, and you give that person the enabling environment to be able to develop in such way, they will bring better things. So it's not just the government doing roads for us and all that. You do roads, but putting policies in place that people can actualize their dreams, and then people can grow within, you know. And one of the things that we need to do, one of the things that I look forward to, is for us to have very strong institution whereby we know that because he's there, many people cannot do things and get away with it.
Institution. Institution. Are you talking about university, grammar school, or let my people know? What do you mean?
No, what I mean by institution is putting down framework.
Good.
Putting down framework, a system in the country whereby
that makes things work.
That makes things work, so that when people sometimes deviate from it, they can be brought back quickly to it, so that it then also promotes that one of the tenets of the democracy, which is the equality before the law.
Yes.
So that if you as a big man,
nobody is above the law,
goes against the law, you are brought before the law, and then you have to pay. Then people behind you will realize the fact that oh, if we do this, we will get this. But if, like the system we have, some big people are not getting things, you know, they do things and they get away with it, then everybody, we have the kind of system we run now, which is definitely not giving us the right dividends as we wanted.
Okay, now still talking about democracy, governance, and of course dividends. There's a question from one of our viewers, and this person didn't actually put name or location.
His location. We will not encourage that.
When you send your messages, please do indicate, put your name and your location.
Your name and your location
is sending this message. Okay, this one says, so what are the unexplored possibilities of democratic governance and dividends?
When you say unexplored possibility, well, I don't know. I don't know if I understand the question very well. But unexplored, the way I will look at it is the fact that democracy dividends, as he puts it, maybe looking at the fact that there are more policy, because I'm trying to understand the question.
I'm also trying to but I think what he's trying to say is, aside from infrastructure, which you just said is not the only thing, it is way deeper. I think he's saying, what are the other possibilities that we've not explored in the country, that we do not even know, that we need to explore, that we deserve, we desire, that we don't have yet?
The answer to that is you partaking in the political process.
Is it just that?
It does, because you put the leaders on their toes. When you partake in it, you put the leaders who are in government on their toes. So they are there to work for you. You are there to support, to give them ideas that, look, we can build skyscrapers, we can turn a jungle into a city. things like that. We can create employment through this. We can use the waste to wealth. There are so many things, there are so many opportunities that he's talking about that are not exploited. But again, the only way is that when all of us come together and be part of government, one way or the other, not just sitting down and criticizing. We are not criticizing any longer. We want to see how we can ensure that government plays its role as provided for in Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yes. In addition to that, to the answer, the unexploited opportunities as well really could go to when you have leaders who are very efficient.
Yes.
They will be able to develop in such a way to be able to work in the world, because the world is a global village now. And Nigeria is just a part of it. So, but if you have a very efficient leader, you will be able to put policies into place whereby Nigeria can derive a lot of benefit from outside the world,
Great.
so that you put your country forward in the world map to be sure that, yes, we are contributing our quota and we are benefiting our quota from the world.
That's it. You got the, you got the answer to it. Brilliant.
Okay, Barrister, I think I need to just read this one because it's relating to this particular topic before we round off for today. I know Barrister is on time. He's trying to put it on time because of the next topic. So this one says, my name is Akerele Daniel from Ikoto Egbe. Please, what can we do to reduce the cost of governance in all sectors? I believe that this will be the beginning of progress in our economy. God bless you all. Okay.
Well, what we can do to reduce the cost of government definitely is for the government to look inwards. Because in this crime now, where you have a politician and he has a deputy and a deputy has a deputy and all that, you see a government convoy going on the road and you have 30 vehicles on the road just following one person. All these are things that we have to look. When you have an efficient leader, you have to look into it, and they can cut down all these excesses, so that way we can reduce the money from there to give dividends to the people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. In fact, you hit the nail on the head. If we have an efficient leader, he can cut the cost of governance, because he will not give room for all these mediocres. Somebody, you've appointed somebody as head of a government, like a minister. The minister will have about 20 special assistants doing what? And those special assistants will have personal assistants, and it goes down. Thank you very much for this very illustrative information.
Thank you so much, Barrister Rose, for being on the show.
We hope that when next we call you, you oblige us.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, too.
All right, okay, and on to the next topic. We'll be having another guest that definitely will be taking up the next topic, and the next one is God-Fatherism in Nigerian politics. This is going to be interesting, and definitely I hope there will not be any buzzwords here, because this is going to be a hot one. Okay, and do not forget we're streaming live on all platforms, and of course at Galaxy TV, social media, and that is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Then of course, when you're sending a message to us, please put your name and your location so we can actually read them. So let's take it away while we come back for our next topic.
Hunger is in the land and families have gone into survival mode. Children are the most hit and things are getting worse by the day. Hunger fuels crime. It affects education and the quality of healthcare. Today in Nigeria, hunger affects political choices and politicians use it as a weapon to influence voters. Choose a good leader and stop hunger.
In Nigerian politics, to achieve some level of recognition and occupy some juicy political positions, you must have a godfather. God-Fatherism has become one of the greatest problems facing the Nigerian political system. The holder of the political position becomes a stooge to his godfather because he that pays the piper dictates the tune. By the time the godson refuses to meet their godfather's demand, he is eventually impeached from political office. The issue of godfatherism in Nigerian politics is as a result of societal decay which has encroached into spheres of Nigerian politics. Politicians kneeling down, prostrating and bowing down in worship of other politicians who they deem as gods is not new in Nigerian political atmosphere. It is now a tradition. Some call it humility, but we all know better. It can be anything but humility. Godfatherism is an evil building block for corruption, bad governance and political instability, retrogression, underdevelopment, mediocrity and perpetual poverty of the people. The political relationship between the godfathers and godsons under successive government in Nigeria is a reflection of anti-people's political behavior by ferocious godfathers whose major preoccupation is to perpetuate their hegemonic political influence and control political interests and accumulation of abundant wealth. It is therefore suggested that godfatherism should not be treated as a party affair, but should be offered political, social and legal treatment by the government and the stakeholders in Nigeria. Godfatherism must be stamped out of our political and administrative systems. Nigerians recommend attitudinal change, serious legislation against money politics, political perceptions of politics, strict compliance to the Electoral Act and guidelines, condemnation of evil and celebration of good, and patriotism as the solutions for positive change.
Welcome back. The program is still Voters Forum, and we still have our guest in the studio. This time around, we have a political analyst who is going to talk to us and educate us more on the mini feature you just listened to, which is Godfatherism in Nigeria. But before then, and before I bring in Rose, I have a short announcement. And the announcement is about Voters Vanguard membership drive. Voters Vanguard is an arm of Voters Awareness Initiative. And in order to sustain all these things that we are talking, we want to have a membership, that club, and that will encompass all these things and make it work. And as we approach the 2023 general elections, there is need to organize ourselves and stop agonizing. We have been taken for a ride by the political class for a long time. We want to organize ourselves and educate ourselves and be more involved in the political process to ensure that political leaders deliver on their campaign or election promises, as well as manage the country well for the betterment of our children and the future. The benefits to be derived as a member of this group are enormous, which includes opportunities to be part of those that will interact with candidates in our various constituencies, training through conferences, seminars, and workshops in respect of democracy and good governance, travel opportunities all over the world to attend and be involved in democratic activities for the betterment of humanity in general. For this and many more information, please visit our website, votersawareness.org.ng. Repeat, votersawareness.org.ng. Thank you. Rose.
Okay, yes, welcome back. I must say again, that's a very good one and a very impressive one. Let me quickly read some messages, of course, from our viewers. And this is as regards the previous topic. That's why before we go, into the Godfatherism in Nigerian politics, this one is from Niyi Fajorin. From Akure State, Ondo. He says democracy will be defined in Nigeria when the political players understand and apply the basic rules of engagement in the judicial system, equality also before the law. Okay, I think that's all. Then the next one says, my name is Shadrach, I'm from Enugu. We need good leadership. And this one says, it's very unfortunate. Our leaders have no will to give us any dividend. They lack patriotism and the electorate don't know their rights. This is Patrick from Jos. So that is all we're taking for now so that we can go into the topic we have for today.
For you to join the topic, the SMS or the platform through which you can send SMS to us is being displayed on the screen.
On the screen.
Please flow and just look at it and send appropriately. The second one is that, again, you can hook up with us. It's streamed and it's streaming on the screen just right now. It's at Galaxy TV, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Facebook at Galaxy TV. Please just flow with it, and of course you get a gist of these issues that we are talking about. Then the second topic for the day is God-Fatherism in Nigerian politics. We all know what, some of us know what God-Fatherism is all about. It's in Christendom, and of course sometimes done in criminal activities. You hear some people say they are godfathers, that evil is bad. Some, of course, if it's about Christendom, is somebody who takes care of somebody, who nurtures someone from infancy, maybe to adulthood, supporting, encouraging, and promoting. The same way in politics all over the world, we have godfathers. These godfathers will pick somebody they know is good, has the quality of leadership, maybe has no opportunity, and they have that opportunity. They have their funds, they have their, out of patriotism, not out of business sense. They will now promote that person, support him, support his candidacy, encourage his campaign activities, and of course make him get into office. Okay. In Nigeria, we have godfathers in Nigeria. Madam, how do we go about it in Nigeria?
Godfatherism in Nigeria, to some extent, is good, but what we say is that, to a certain extent, is not too good in politics. It has not yielded something positive. The electorate have complained bitterly, and they are saying that it's responsible for non-performance and non-provision of infrastructure. Even the dividends of democracy we are talking about, the reason why people are not having it is because the godfathers put their stooge in office, in political offices, and they're actually not performing. And even for non-performance, they are also given another opportunity in office, and people are not getting it. And that is the problem we have in Nigeria. And a lot of political crises we have in political parties. The problems in political parties we have today is as a result of godfatherism. You see someone with economic power, with political power, enormous political power. We also assist someone, even with ability, someone who has good leadership traits in office. But when you put that person there, you are not allowing such a person to perform.
Okay.
It's also going to have adverse effects.
Okay. I'm sorry, you're supposed to definitely continue talking, but because of time, we have a commercial break right now we need to take. So after this commercial break, definitely you'll continue from where you stopped. Let's go for the commercial break and be right back.
You're welcome back. Our guest has already let herself out of the bag. We didn't introduce her properly, but again, better late than never. Our guest on the program is Mrs. Olushola Agbalu. She's a public affairs analyst. And of course, for you to know, before even we introduce her, she's already told us who she is with the little introduction through this opening statement. Madam, you are welcome to this program.
Thank you.
You're welcome to the program, and I must say we are sorry for, how will I put it, jumping the broom. And of course, yes, it's already fast time because we just want to dive into it. So, of course, from where you stopped, let's continue from that.
Like I said, that if a political leader, if you have brought somebody into political, you have assisted somebody to get into the political office, you should also give that person free hand to work. So that people can really get the dividend of that office. But when you are controlling the person and you are demanding more than necessary, it's going to have adverse effects in the performance of that person. And that is the problem we are having in Nigeria. Like I said, the political crisis we are having in the parties, political parties in Nigeria today, majority of it is as a result of godfatherism. I put you in an office, you are not doing my bits. You see leaders forming themselves into cliques. If they are doing it positively like it is done abroad, they have the interest of the people at heart. people will enjoy this democracy. Because this democracy, we fought for it. Those of us that were very young during the military rule, and we know those who really fought for this democracy, like the Nadeko and all that. I think they have a good motive that Nigeria should be governed democratically, not by military leaders. And they fought for it. They put their life in line. I cannot be mentioning names. But when they get there, I don't know why things change. I think it has to do with that African leaders, we need to understand that this democracy is a means of making life comfortable for our people.
True. And
also to prevent our people going abroad, going to the foreign countries and know that when our country is good. And that is what our politicians must do. It's a must for them. So that when you call yourself politicians outside, people will not be looking down on you. They will not be telling you that you are thieves. So Godfatherism in politics should be in a way that we want godfathers who are people-oriented, who wants good for Nigeria.
Good.
That so that when someone you put in office is doing well, you don't listen to people that will say, oh, he's not listening to us, he's not attending to us. For example, somebody wants to contest an election. The electionary process in Nigeria is monetized. And when someone wants to contest for an election, the money that is being demanded is too much.
It's alarming.
And it's alarming. And that's why some people will begin to look for a godfather that want to put them there. How do they now perform?
I want to ask a question.
I have to take a second look at that if you want better Nigeria.
Okay, I want to ask a question. Is it that we should actually embrace godfatherism in our Nigerian politics, or we should put a stop to it?
I think for godfatherism, we should put a stop to it, because it's when we are coming into democracy new in 1999, when we are, coming from the military, that, people need economic power. I think now people should be looking at the quality, the service, the experience of somebody who wants to hold political office. And also, people who want to also hold political office should be someone that you like the people. You are interested in the people. Not money bags. You have made money in your business. You are just coming to invest. Politics should not be seen as an investment to yield you money. But to yield good governance to people.
Thank you, ma. You made a very valid point, and I want you to expand it. The first one was that we have now left the era of when we are nascent, as it were, when government and politics was new and very young. Now, the system has produced people who can now vie for political offices. 1, 2. The people too now have seen the difference. They can now vote for some people who can vote who they can vote to hold political office. Now, where I'm going is that can we give space to people who are ready to serve, because politics is about service, so that they will come out and serve, be confident to take on other platforms. There are more than 18 political parties in Nigeria, not just the 4 that are prominent.
I think the 4 that are prominent are those ones, that those small parties. They don't make their presence felt at the grassroots, and that is the problem we are having. For example, now a particular candidate now that is popular with the youth.
Not mention names.
I'm not mentioning names. Does not have his presence in my village. And you have voters there. Does not have his presence in so many places where you have it's just voters. And that is, if you forming political parties or vying for political office, you cannot just stand up without touching the grassroots, because those are the people without wards, without establishing wards, without having participants at the ward level, at the grassroots, and say you want to win election. That's a joke. And that is the problem they are having. They just want to be independent candidates that can tell people the ideas they have. But they don't want to go to the grassroots. And grassroots is the politics. It's where you can actually bring gas people.
So that's where the Godfather comes in. No. Because the Godfather is in the grassroots.
No, it's not. The Godfather is not only in the, it's not that it's only in the grassroots that you have the Godfathers. No, that's wrong.
Okay.
If you know you are capable, you should also be at the grassroots. You can't be an urban person and say you want to be in politics and be speaking, you also must be as
a rural man.
You must be able to attend
grassroots meeting.
Because that is where you have people.
Yes. They are also people, they are also Nigerians.
They are Nigerians. That is the problem they are having. And that is why they are saying, oh, they didn't give me that post because I don't know this particular person. Let me tell you, the people, we are not mentioning names, but the big wigs in politics we are having today, they are grassrooters, and they are wonderful grassrooters.
Yes.
They liaise with people at the grassroots.
That's what I mean.
And that is where you can get disciples, political disciples, those who can move the society when it comes to politics. That's where you can get it. You can't stay online, you can't stay in the urban area and be looking for people. If you look at the dedication and the commitment of the grassroots people in politics, it's amazing.
Now, can we now? Okay, sorry. Can we now talk to our people how they can now galvanize their power of the grassroots to now ensure that they put people who can deliver to them, not those who can just get their votes and abandon them in the grassroots.
At the grassroots.
Yes.
Well, the grassroots people also, you don't begin to look at them as if they just want money. They don't want good things.
Yes.
They can decide if they tell you that they need access road in their place, and you are not giving them. When next you come, they will not vote for you. If you give them money, they will take it, but they will not vote for you.
So how do we do it so that next time when they promise coming to, because I've been involved in it, if they come to the rural area to for your vote and you vote,
what you can do is that you maintain constant relationship with them. Not only when politics come, you are coming.
Okay, all right. I have messages from our viewers, but quickly, I just have a very quick question to ask. When it comes to God-Fatherism and corruption in our Nigerian politics, how many percent? Okay, from 1 to 10, what's the scale that you give for the corruption that's affected in our Nigerian politics?
Because how it has affected,
how it has affected our politics in Nigeria. If you were to rate God-Fatherism, what it has affected when it comes to corruption from 1 to 10, what number will you give?
I'll give 5.
Oh, so it's half-half.
She's a very stingy teacher.
Okay, all right. Now let's read messages from our viewers. Rather, this one says, "I appreciate the guest for educating Nigerians and telling us the truth. Please, Nigerians, vote wisely." From Priye in Bayelsa State. Another one says, "My name is Emmanuel. Thank God for this awareness that is going on as business as usual. And of course, please, in the next coming election, let's still be aware." Another says, "My name is Francis Oko Eko from Okiaro, Ogun State. God-Fatherism cannot be eradicated. It is all over the world, not only here in Nigeria. It has to be in existence from it has been in existence from the time memorial. What Nigeria needs at this critical time is nothing but only prayers for the country to move forward, and also for you to vote wisely." Another says, this says, "The progress of any country is not determined by its economic or military strength, but by the well-being of its people. But rather, we find a situation where people live in abject poverty. I think that we should start talking about how to make our votes count, because the hydra-headed monsters killing Nigerians is that their votes don't count in Nigeria. And we'll find a sorry situation where the superstructure uses their power and authority to intimidate the base, which is the grassroots you're talking about, to have their way. Now, our leaders fiddle the nation. Our leaders have become..." Please stop calling the line. You can just only send a message to it. Our leaders... Okay, anyways, this one is asking, what is the way out? Before we... Man, these messages are so much. Please do not call. Do not call, please. So I can read as much messages as possible.
Don't call. Just send your message. We'll read everything.
Yes.
Maybe if you want to engage us, they will throw in our social media handles.
Yeah, you can just
then
put
you
it up there.
continue with it. Send your questions and we'll interact with you. For me, it is at Wale Ogunade at Wale on Twitter, and at Instagram, Ogunade W on Instagram, and of course, Wale Ogunade on Facebook. Just send it and your comments, and we'll work on it. We'll relate to interact with you. Please don't call.
All right, moving on. This one is from Faith Izumwa from Abia State. She's viewing from Abia State. Says the rate of godfatherism in Nigerian politics is too high and has eaten deep into the system, ranging from the central government down to the grassroots, thereby paving way for incapables to have their way in the helms of power. Now, the best way to deal with this is the need for citizens and electoral masses to look beyond ethnic and religious differences. They should give room to let their choices of whom they want to vote for to be influenced by, not to be influenced by any well-known politician figure or anything. And on the other hand, the issue of godfatherism should be scraped at all levels of government. I'm going to read just 2 messages before we quickly go for our next week topic. You know, this one says, my name is Busayo Oshile. Godfatherism is the bedrock of Nigerian politics. Only God can save us. And the last one, like I said, is money politics is coach to quality leadership in Nigeria. I appreciate the guests and, of course, the host. This is Omoba Adesukomi Adewale from Ilorin. Okay, yes, that's the one we can take for now. Let's quickly go over and see what we have for next week. We have something for next week for you guys. So we'll be right back. And maybe in 1 or 2 minutes, we'll just quickly wrap it up before we go. Take it away.
Next week on Voters Forum, let's take a look at a very persuasive topic: candidate and candidacy in politics. Yes, the act of being a candidate in a race in Nigeria for either a party nomination or for electoral office is called a candidacy. So, let's talk about the contenders and pretenders of Nigerian politics. It promises to be explosive with lots of revelation placed on the burner for our policy analysts to dissect. Join the conversation on Saturday to learn about what you need to know. Voters Forum. Keep a date with us.
Now is the time to be called out by the people you promise to serve. Are you a leader that is responsible, selfless, and dynamic to turn around the misfortunes of the nation, Nigeria? Why don't you sell your manifestos to the people on Scorecard? Galaxy TV is offering you an opportunity to speak directly to the people on your plans to make life better for Nigerians. Scorecard provides you the time and a chance of a lifetime to be the man and serve. Scorecard, towards a better Nigeria.
Welcome back. It has been an interesting time, you know, I promised you, and we thank God that God has helped us this far. Madam Olushola Agbalu. In fact, you are a star, and I will appreciate you. And any closing comment from you?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this godfatherism, because it's an issue. But I think we've been able to understand ourselves why it shouldn't be and why we should move on from that for a better Nigeria. I want to thank the organizer of this program. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ma, for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been a very interesting engagement, I must say. Thank you so much. I also learned a whole lot, especially the grassroots. I didn't look at that when it comes to godfatherism, actually. Well, I learned that part. And at this point, let me just sign out because it's the wrap-up of the program. My name is Ruth Blossom, and I enjoyed you guys. Thank you so much for keeping it glued. Of course, next week, we'll bring in something more interesting and juicy. I love you guys. You have a beautiful week ahead of you.
Yes, have a beautiful week ahead. And from my part, just tell your people that the light of politics is here. This program is the light of politics. You can't get it anywhere better than this place. Tell your people, be our evangelist. Tell them that between 12 and 1 every Saturday, there is a program on television which will educate you on your civic and political rights, and open your eyes so that nobody leads you by the nose anymore. We want to thank our guests again for coming, and of course, our earlier guest, Mrs. Rose Odite. It has been a wonderful program, and we know that when next we come again, it's going to be a full package, bumper one, as my co-host has said. Till next week, I'm Wale Ogwade, your host on this program. Keep out of trouble. Bye.
Do you know that success is not earned in the future? It is earned now. So you need to be involved in something that you have comparative advantage on. Such thing must be legal and genuine. You don't have any other country except Nigeria. Let's discuss real solutions to our problems. Nigeria is our country. It's our home. So be proactive as a citizen to make Nigeria a great nation. Don't be a spectator in Nigeria's space. It's time to stop complaining about the government. Use your vote to change the society. It's your voice.